Next we will discuss cross-pollination. This cross-pollination is also called xenogamy or allogamy. In scientific term used for cross-pollination, that is xenogamy or allogamy. So what is cross-pollination? In cross-pollination there is a transfer of pollens from the anther of one plant to the stigma of another plant of the same species. Means here the plants will be different but both the plants will be of same species. So for cross pollination there will be a requirement for the transfer of pollen from one plant to distant other plant of the same species. So there are some external agents that are required for cross pollination. These agents can be of two types, abiotic as well as biotic. Let us discuss them one by one. The abiotic agents that can be, first would be wind and second main is water. The pollination, that the cross pollination that is done by wind is called anemophily, and the pollination that is done with the agent called water, then it is called hydrophily. Similarly biotic components, we can see that biotic means living components कौन-कौन से हैं, or living agents that can pollinate plants or flowers are birds, insects and bats. The pollination that occurs by birds, that is done by birds, that is called ornithophily, and if insects are involved in the pollination it is called entomophily, and when bats are involved in the pollination they are called chiropetrophily. Next we will discuss one by one. First let us take that the adaptations in flowers. So there are some flowers in which cross pollination occurs, and these flowers are adapted. They have some adaptations according to the mode of pollination in them. So adaptations, let us see them. First, in case of anemophilic, the flowers or the plants which are pollinated by wind are called anemophily, and examples are coconut, palm, anabas or maize, walnut, oats and grass. These are some examples of the flowers that are pollinated by wind. And what happens, what are the modifications in these flowers? The adaptations for the wind pollination are that first, these flowers are small, lack bright color, because wind pollinator there is no need for bright color, inconspicuous, no attractive shape or form, without fragrance होते हैं, कोई fragrance नहीं होती इसमें. Next, pollen grains are smooth, dry and may be winged होंगे wings के साथ, so that they can easily move by wind. So they are produced in large quantity. By air pollination they are produced in large quantity. Stigma are branched and broad, hairy, well exposed. काफ़ी branched, broad होगा, hairy होगा, ताकि air direct contact में उसके आ सके, and pollens जो हैं directly उस पे आ सके. What happens in case of, what are the adaptations in case of hydrophily? Flowers, hydrophily means water pollinated flowers. Example we will discuss Vallisneria and Ceratophyllum. For hydrophily further can be classified into two, that is hypohydrophily and epihydrophily. Hypo means below the surface of water, means plant is submerged, that example is Ceratophyllum की discuss करेंगे. And epihydrophily means the plant is half submerged and half is above the surface of water. We will discuss here example, that is Vallisneria plant. What happens in hypohydrophily plants like Ceratophyllum, that the totally submerged marine plant है, in which male and female flowers are present on the same plant. एक ही plant है, उसके ऊपर ही male and female flowers लगे. Female flowers at the base and male flowers at the top. What happens when male flowers mature? Pollen grains are detached from the male flower. They float on the surface of water, and these जो pollen grains हैं, they release their pollen, and these pollen sink down in the water and reaches the female flower. And what happens, these on the surface of pollen grains release, they sink down in water and start germinate and pollinate the female flower. So what happens in case of epihydrophily, means in case of Vallisneria, where plant is above the surface, half plant is above the surface of water and half is below the surface of water. This is the case of the Vallisneria, in which there are two separate male and female flowers are present. This is the female plant and this is the male plant, and this female plant bears female flower at the top of the surface of the water. It is with a long stalk. Flower remains afloat on the surface of water, and the male plant is submerged and flower is below the surface of water, that is on the base. So what happens when these male flowers get matures, pollen grains are released, they get detached, they float and reaches on the surface of water. They start flowing on the surface of water, and as soon as they get the female flower on the surface, they get pollinated. This happens in case of Vallisneria, and this type of pollination is epihydrophilic case. नेक्स्ट इज एंटीमोफिली. एंटीमोफिली केस में अडेप्टेशंस क्या हैं? व्हाट आर द अडेप्टेशन इन केस ऑफ इंसेक्ट पॉलिनेटेड फ्लावर्स? एग्जाम्पल इज बोगनविलिया. दीज इंसेक्ट पॉलिनेट मीन्स इंसेक्ट्स को अट्रैक्ट करना है, तो फ्लावर्स में क्या क्या अडेप्टेशंस होंगी? फ्लावर्स आर लार्ज, ब्राइटली कलर्ड एंड फ्रेग्रेंट होंगे. इनमें नेक्टर इज प्रोड्यूस्ड फॉर द अट्रैक्शन ऑफ इंसेक्ट्स, फॉर द appetite of insect, and pollen grains are rough and sticky. जो pollens हैं they would be rough and sticky, so that they can easily stick to the body of the insect, and stigma is also rough and sticky. दोनों के लिए rough and sticky होना ज़रूरी है for the pollination. Next type, that is zoophily, means pollination is done with the help of animals. Animals कौन से? Like birds and bats. The type of pollination that is done with the help of birds, that is called ornithophily, and type of pollination that is done by bats is called chiropterophily. बर्ड्स में क्या, बर्ड पॉलिनेटेड फ्लावर्स कैसे होते हैं? उनका करोला मीन्स कलर्ड जो पेटल्स हैं, दे आर फनल लाइक, दे आर ट्यूब लाइक, फनल लाइक. द फ्लावर वुड बी लाइक दिस, फनल लाइक flower, and so that the beak of the bird could reach the nectar easily. So beak like, funnel like flowers are pollinated. So इनमें ये adaptations है, corolla और funnel like, funnel shaped, strong colored petals होंगी, large amount of nectar will be produced. Example इसमें है bottle brush and sunbird का. On the other side, chiropterophily means pollinated by bats, and bats are active at night, so these flowers blossom at night. So large होते हैं, number इनका very large, but dull in color. Color is very dull because bat needs no color to attract these. They need only nectar and strong fruity odor. So इनमें होता है. तो stamens जो है वो इसमें prominent रहेंगे. Example इसमें आ जाती है banana and mango में. इन दोनों में ही bats are responsible for pollination. So as we come to know that the autogamy means self pollination, जो हमने previously discuss करा. Autogamy leads to what? Weaker plants, because same genotype remains the same plant से same आगे प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है न्यू प्लांट्स. सो नो चेंज, नो वेरिएशंस, बट इन क्रॉस पॉलिनेशन इट रिजल्ट्स इन वेरिएशन इन द प्लांट, एंड न्यू कॉम्बिनेशंस ऑफ टू कैरेक्टर्स फ्रॉम द टू पेरेंट्स रिजल्ट्स टू अ न्यू कॉम्बिनेशन. सो प्लांट्स शो, क्या करते हैं? प्लांट्स शो स्ट्रेटजीज or contrivances for prevention of self pollination. Plants try to avoid self pollination, and they prefer cross pollination. How they prefer? What they do? What are different changes or strategies in the plants to prefer cross pollination? These are, first we will discuss, that is unisexuality. Some plants are unisexual. Why they are sexual? Unisexual means they have separate male and female flowers. Means male flower is separate and female flowers are separate. So why? So that to avoid self pollination, ताकि self pollination ना हो. Example में आ जाएगा papaya and palm. बट इन सेल्फ पॉलिनेशन जो बाइसेक्सुअल फ्लावर्स भी हैं उनमें फिर डाइकोगैमी कंडीशन हो सकती है. व्हाट इज़ दैट? इन बाइसेक्सुअल फ्लावर्स वेयर मेल एंड फीमेल पार्ट्स आर प्रेजेंट, एंथर एंड स्टिग्मा, दे मेच्योर एट डिफरेंट टाइम्स. डाइकोगैमी शो करेंगे डिफरेंट टाइम पे, स्टिग्मा एंड एंथर मेच्योर करेंगे. यहाँ पे आगे फर्दर टू कंडीशंस हो सकती हैं. डाइकोगैमी कैन बी ऑफ टू टाइप्स, दैट इज प्रोटोगाइनी और प्रोटोएंड्री. प्रोटोगाइनी मीन्स इज इन दिस केस व्हाट हैपन्स, gynoecium or female part will mature before the stamens, and protoendry means anthers will mature before the gynoecium of the flower. So what will happen? This type of condition will also avoid the self pollination. So protogyny means stigma matures before the maturation of the anther of the same flower. Example है banana का. And protoendry means anthers mature before the stigma of the same flower, means same flower में pollination avoid हो गया. So this will be the case of sunflower और marigold. Next condition जो strategy plants adopt कर रहे हैं for the cross-pollination or to avoid self-pollination, that is heterostyly. Heterostyly means plants will bear flowers with 2 or 3 different morphological types of style. Style means gynoecium में this is stigma, this is style and this is ovary. तो style की length में variation होगी, means flowers will be, there would be flowers bearing distyly or tristyly gynoecium. Distyly means 2 type of styles will be there, 2 types of styles will be there. Let us see here. 2 types of styles means some in some cases style is long and in some flowers style is short. Style is short styly and long styly. This will be distyly condition, and in tristyly condition what happens, styles will show three types. That is, in one case style will be long, in other case it will be medium length, and in third case it would be a short style. And all these conditions will avoid what, self-pollination cannot occur in all these cases. So these are the strategies to avoid self-pollination. Next is self-incompatibility. Last case occurs that self-incompatibility means self-sterility, means gametes from genetically similar जो होंगे, male or female gametes of the same plant, they fail to fuse with each other. This condition is called self-incompatibility. This happens due to what, some morphological changes occurs in the gametes.